Mr. Chairman, I intend to vote against Wendy Sherman. And when you look at her record in foreign policy, I think she has managed to be on the wrong side of a whole lot of issues, and especially the most important issues. She played a leading role in the negotiations with North Korea, where the objective was to lift sanctions in exchange for promises not to develop nuclear weapons. We now know in hindsight that endeavor was a colossal failure, that the result instead was the billions of dollars of sanction relief that flowed into North Korea were used to develop what is now an arsenal of nuclear weapons aimed and directed at the United States. Then in the Obama administration, Ms. Sherman had a second act, and she was made the lead negotiator for the Iran deal, where, for whatever reason, we repeated exactly the same mistakes as North Korea. We followed the same strategy that had failed in North Korea. We negotiated a deal very much like the deal that didn't work in North Korea. The result of the JCPOA, I believe, would inevitably have led to a nuclear Iran. It would have led to an Ayatollah who regularly chants death to America with a nuclear arsenal aimed at America. A nuclear Iran, I believe, is qualitatively more dangerous than North Korea. North Korea may be the most dangerous place on the planet right now, because the Ayatollah is motivated by religious fanaticism and a seething hatred for America and for Israel. The Ayatollah calls Israel the little Satan and America the great Satan. Under the terms of the JCPOA, at its expiration in 15 years, it was perfectly fine for the Ayatollah to have nuclear weapons, even while he chants death to America. The most important foreign policy decision made in the Trump administration, I believe, was the decision to pull out of that catastrophic deal, that deal that flooded hundreds of billions of dollars into the Ayatollahs, only to be used to fund terrorism around the world and malign efforts directed at the United States and directed at our allies. I agree with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when he describes a nuclear Iran as an existential threat to Israel. And existential in that context doesn't mean a Frenchman with a black beret chain-smoking. It means literally going to the very existence of the State of Israel. All of us are aware of the catastrophic horror of the Holocaust. A nuclear Iran is the one serious threat on this planet that could once again result in the murder of 6 million Jews. And if never again is to mean anything, it should mean never again. I'm opposing Wendy Sherman, and I would urge colleagues on both sides of the aisle to oppose Wendy Sherman, because she is nominated to this position precisely because she was the leading champion, the face of, the negotiator of the disastrous Iran deal. And it is this administration's stated intention to try to go back to that failed deal. And so I believe anyone casting a vote for Wendy Sherman is simultaneously casting a vote for the policies for which she is being nominated, the policies that are profoundly dangerous to America, to Israel, to our allies. So I'm going to be voting no. I will be voting yes on Mr. McKeon, although with both of them, I'm placing holds on their going to the floor until the administration does more on Nord Stream 2. And this is another topic this committee has talked about at great length. This committee's leadership and the bipartisan sanctions bill that Senator Shaheen and I have passed twice now, two different versions with the support of the members of this committee. Our sanctions legislation worked. The pipeline that was 90% complete stopped, and it stopped the instant, the hour our sanctions legislation was signed into law. Pipeline construction halted. It halted for a year. It was an incredible success for America, for this committee, and it was an incredible loss for Putin, cost Putin billions of dollars. And in the last couple of months, as everyone knows, Putin has begun building the pipeline again. And he's done so because of the mixed signals from the Biden administration on whether they will follow the law that has been passed overwhelmingly with massive bipartisan support from Congress twice. Now, I have urged every single Biden State Department nominee, get the report to Congress that you are statutorily mandated to send. The report they just sent omits numerous ships. It omits the company that is building Nord Stream 2 from mandatory sanctions for building Nord Stream 2. It is utterly indefensible. They are not able to defend omitting it. And they should send an interim report to shut the pipeline down. Putin is rushing to get the pipeline completed in the next couple of months, and I've urged every Biden administration State Department nominee, we have had a great foreign policy victory for this country, and if the mixed messages and weak messages to Putin continue, that victory will be turned into a loss. So it is my hope, and this is something I would ask of the Democratic colleagues. We agree on Nord Stream 2. We've worked together on Nord Stream 2, and we've won a major victory. I recognize this administration is much more likely to listen to Democratic members of this committee than Republican members of this committee. That's the way this town works. I think the Biden administration is making a major and unnecessary mistake. They're making it because they want to play nice with Germany, and that's great. Play nice with Germany on 50 other things. But there's no reason to give a massive windfall to Putin and make Europe dependent on Putin's energy. And so I want to encourage my colleagues to use every avenue you have to urge the Biden administration to stop playing around, to follow the law, and to stop this pipeline. We've seen that it works, and the only thing that changed, the reason Putin began building the pipeline again.
I would just say to the gentleman, with all due respect, I have given you 7 minutes. I think you've made your point on Nord Stream very clearly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.